What's up, guys? What's up, guys? It's your bro Richie here again. Today's video is now an extended video. Today's video is now another. Today's video is an extended video on part 11 for the Cadillac Dorado. So today I'm now still continuing on with the next version, which is the 11th generation from 1986 to 1991. So I'm still on the model year changes. The next one I got the next one I got is 1987. So before I continue on, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all hit the notification bell and hit all so you know when I make brand new uploads. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So let's continue on to our left house. So model year changes. First one is 1987. Here we go. so aside from a longer 5-year 50,000 mile warranty, the Eldorado was virtually unchanged. So virtually unchanged. So in other words, it was just essentially the same for 1987, though with a price drop. It's now $23,740. It's pretty cheap. In 2024, that would be $65,706 in 2024. The standard suspension with new taller 75 series, previously was 70, tires, both that and hydroelastic motor mounts with slightly retuned. So was slightly retuned for a softer ride, while the optional 155 while the optional $155 touring suspension, which is $430, which is in 2024, $430 in 2024, with deflective rotor strut valves and 15-inch alloy wheels, remained for those desiring a firmer ride. As part of a federal requirement to discourage chop shop thieves, many body panels were etched with the VIN number, vehicle identification number. So vehicle identification number. Also knew a combination cashmere, so combo cashmere cloth with leather upholstery and locking inertia seatbelt reels for rear seat passengers, which allowed for a child seat installation in the outboard seating positions. So which allowed for child seat installation in the outboard seating positions in the rear. The formal convertible roof was added that year. So the formal convertible roof was added that year, available for just $495, almost $500, so almost $500 on the base Eldorado. It featured a padded a padded covering, padded, padded covering, covering over the roof, well, over the rear half of the roof, and turned the rear side glass into the rear side glass into smaller opera windows. So opera windows. One of the Eldorado's most expensive standalone options was the Motorola cellular telephone mounted inside the locking center armrest. So in other words, it had a Motorola car phone into it. So there's one other car that I know that has a car phone into it, which is like the BMW 840, I think, Ci or something like that. Or is it 850? I don't know. It's one of those standard. It was from 1984. It was the one with the V12 that was featured in Top Gear recently for 2011, something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So 1984. I think it was 850. I can't remember, but it was one of those old school BMW V12s. It was against the Mercedes 600 CL. Anyways, yeah. One of the Eldorado's most expensive standalone options was the Motorola cellular telephone mounted inside the locking center armrest, priced at $2,850, 7,888, well, almost getting up to $7,900, less than $8,000 in 2024. It had been reworked that year for easier operation and featured a microphone mounted between the sun visors for hands-free operation. So you won't have to use the phone while driving, which is kind of useful, so you won't get into a crash. Additionally, the phone featured a RMC radio mute control. So radio mute control activated when both the phone and radio were in use simultaneously. So were simultaneously in use. It automatically decreased the rear speaker's audio volume and overrode the front music speakers to be used for the hands-free phone. Next is the 1988 facelift. The 88 Eldorado received a facelift and sales nearly doubled from the previous year, up to 33,210. Essentially the revision lengthened the rear fender end caps, making the Eldorado 3 inches longer than an 87. The wheelbase, doors, roof, and glass remained relatively unchanged, so still the same, and body panels were revised. Standard equipment included Cadillac's new 4.5 liter 155, so 4.5 liter 155, so 4.5 liter 155, so 4.5 liter 155 horsepower V8 motor. Comprehensive ABS system developed by Teves, TEVES, was newly available. Both front and rear fenders featured creased blade elements that rose slightly proud of the adjacent sheet metal. Revisions included a new grille above the revamped front bumper, slightly protruding slightly protruding three side taillights, and a revised rear bumper and trunk lid. Bladed 14-inch aluminum wheels remained standard, while an optional 15-inch snowflake pattern alloy wheel was included with a touring suspension option. The 88 interior featured wider front wider front seat headrests, and swing-away door pull handles, replacing the pull straps. I believe it's like when the seatbelt mechanism's like on top of like the door. Like when you open it, it just retracts, and when you close it, just kind of pulls back. I don't know how it works, but it's something like that. Some cars kind of had that kind of system. Some Japanese, old school 80s, 90s, they have that kind of feature to it. Anyways, the 1988 interior featured wider front seatbelts and not seatbelts, headrests, and swing-away door pull handles. Replacing the pull straps. Sorry, I got that so confused. Sorry, it's just my mind went blank. Sorry about that. And swing away door pull handles. Swing away door pull handles, replacing the pull straps. New upholstery panels, along with shoulder belts for outboard rear seat passengers, appeared for both the base and Biarritz models, with the latter returning to a tufted button design. So TUFTED button design, last seen in the 85 Biarritz. A new vinyl roof option covering the full rooftop featured a band of body color above both the side door and windows, similar to the style used until 1978. Say 1978. This replaced the convertible roof option, which covered the rear half of the roof, introduced just a year earlier. With the Biarritz option pack. So Biarritz option pack, the padded vinyl roof covered just the rear quarter of the rooftop behind the rear seat windows. Well, the rear side windows, sorry. Biarritz also included slender vertical opera lights, as in 1986 and 87, but now added a spear molding similar to the styling used on the 1976-85 Eldorado Biarritz that ran from the base of the rooftop, continuing horizontally along the door and down to the front fender. Continuing horizontally along the door and down to the front fender tip. The standard power antenna was moved from the front. The standard power antenna was moved from the front to the rear passenger side. From the front to the rear passenger fender. So this next one is gonna be kind of odd but crazy. 19 shades of exterior paint were available. Two more than the previous year, which they used Two more than the previous year, which they used 17. Now, how many shades of colors do they need or they have? This is just pretty confusing for me. Anyways, 19 shades of exterior paint were available. So many different shades of white for the car, or beige, or whatever they have there. I don't know what colors they would use for that, but that many shades, really? What? This is just confusing right now. So, the standard power antenna was moved from the front passenger fender to the rear passenger fender. 19 shades of 19 shades of exterior paint 19 shades of exterior paint were available. Two more than the previous year, which they had 17. Prices increased that year to just $24,891. In 2024, that would be $66,178 in 2024. This 1988 facelift would be the last until the Eldorado was completely redesigned for 1992. That would be for the 12th and final generation. Next up is 1989. So for 1989, the optional automatic rear view mirror transitioned from an electrically operated mechanical tilting mechanism to a new electrochromic style using a clear fluid filled between the mirror and a thin sheet of glass, which tints on activation. So I believe it's like window tint or something. I don't know. A new exterior color, white diamond or diamond white. I think, I don't know. It says white diamond. Brought the color choices up to 18.